Hi, this is Michael Thompson from Zoe, and I want to welcome you to the Wednesday Morning Rescue. This is our weekly audio encouragement offered through Zoe's daily orientation. What you are about to listen to is an excerpt from the Men's Heart of a Warrior Conference or the Zoe Women's Deepening Weekend Retreat. It is our hope that your heart finds strength, beauty, and courage for the life God has called you to live in the larger story. It was C.S. Lewis who once wrote, "Relying on God has to begin all over again every day, as if nothing had yet been done." It is our prayer that this devotional brings an orientation to your heart, settling you and equipping you to play your part well in the great love story set in the midst of the fierce battle. Today, may you experience the love of God, learning how to walk with Him and live free. All right, in any story, there's a relationship between the characters and the environment. Do you know the term for that? The context. The context of any story, right? I think I mentioned it the other night. If there's Winnie the Pooh, then you know you're in the 100-Acre Wood. You know you're in a children's story. If you're talking about hobbits and wizards and orcs, you're in Middle Earth. And there's a relationship between the characters in the story, the environment, and it gives you a context. Does that make sense? Well, one of the things that we talked about Friday night is what's one of the things that we've lost? Our context. We've lost the larger story. So if you don't know the larger story that your story's in, how can you play your part well? If we've lost our context, if we misunderstand what's going on around us in other people, right, to see that we live in something much larger. And actually, what's so cool about understanding how large the story is, it has the reverse effect of what most people would think. If the story gets larger, we might think that we must then get smaller. But wait, if the story gets larger and the Savior of the universe is more, and He came to save you, what must you be then? More, larger, right? This is how it works. When you start to expand your spiritual ability, your skill, your art, your practice, to eyes to see and ears to hear how large the story is, it doesn't make you incidental. It makes you indispensable. You are significant in this story. You are very, very important. And the context that we live in. Do you remember Blockbuster when we used to go to the store? You know? And you remember how it was laid out? Sections. What were those sections? Remember? Yes, the genre, the context of the stories were lined up accordingly. So you'd come into drama, you'd come in. I mean, right there, usually when you came in was the new releases, right? And if you really wanted a movie bad, you went and stood in front of the door, checking people when they came in. What are they carrying in? They got that? They got the movie that you just swap it from them, take it to? Did you ever do that? That happened. So, but you'd step in, you'd go to different sections. If you wanted a John Wayne movie, you're going to the Westerns, right? If you wanted to check in with Luke Skywalker, right? You wanted to be scared, right? You wanted to snuggle, romance, right? Yep. You wanted to laugh. I mean, there's the genre. So, what kind of story are we in? John Eldredge in his book Epic, and we have some DVDs of Epic. We may need to show you a little bit of that tonight. I highly recommend that DVD. It is a John Eldredge teaching, sharing, orientation about the larger story, Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4. Very, very helpful to you understanding your context. Like I hope this is very helpful. We wrote Search and Rescue about the context of your larger story. I found that most believers don't know the larger story that their story's in. Therefore, that's one of the ingredients as to why they're so lost and why they don't understand. There is evil in this story. There's a villain in this story. Why do we know? All the stories that we love have a villain. That's why when Commodus gets it at the end, we go, yes. That's why when we see that Darth Vader leaves the dark side in the final chapter, we go, yes. When we see Longshanks die, and with him his reign over, and the oppressive reign over Scotland, something in us goes, yeah, good. That's what he deserves. I mean, there's something, do you hear me? There's something in you. And Ecclesiastes says God has set eternity in our hearts. That's why we're trying to wake up our hearts, to be awake, as Tom said, to see, to hear. So I would suggest, and from John Eldridge, I got this, that we live in the greatest love story set in the midst of the fiercest battle. That would be the context. So you got two aisles at Blockbuster for our story. The greatest love story set in the midst of the fiercest battle. In Search and Rescue, it says, we said this, in becoming spiritually awakened and spiritually aware, we are both oriented and equipped to both discover and recover the most important thing, life. You have to understand what this story is about. So the context of the story, the character, the environment, the relationship, and what's this story about? Where's it going? Right? Any of you guys read the last pages first? Any of you? Oh, come on, really? Yeah, you know, spoilers. They want to know where this is going as to whether or not I want to invest my time in it, to read it. All right, where is this story going? The most important thing, life. Friends, it is life that has been lost, and it is life that will be rescued, recovered, and restored. When we look and listen more deeply into the two realms in which we live, we will truly find life and more of it. Thank you for listening to this week's Wednesday Morning Rescue, a part of Zoe's Daily Orientation. To sign up for the Daily Orientation, explore more information on Zoe's weekend retreats, or to order the book, The Heart of a Warrior, go to our website at www.zoe.org. That's www.zoweh.org.